What's up, and welcome to another edition of Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 62, coming to you on a special Tuesday. Because life, yes.
Big Tuesday energy.
Yes, Tuesday energy, woo! But yes, I was looking, we have a live chat going on, so if you're joining us live, welcome, and thanks for joining at a different time, and if you missed it, no worries. Stuff happens. Comment down below your thoughts on what we talk about. So we got Charles.
Stuff happens was definitely us yesterday.
Yes. Ready with that Tuesday energy. Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
And John Knight. Hi, ladies. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, we will. We have a couple of quick announcement things in the description. I think I already put it. In case you missed it, we have our Demon Slayer interviews. Those are all up. So woo. And
those were a lot of fun.
Yes.
Those were a blast.
Which I was like, we'll get to that. It is the last day of February, indeed.
So it is. Big last day of February energy. Tomorrow we pay rent.
Trigun and My Hero Academia. So stick around for all of that. So actually, speaking of that, but real quick, we'll plug it again. In case you missed it, we covered the Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village world. So it's the Demon Slayer World Tour. So if you look at that hashtag, thank you again to Crunchyroll and Aniplex. Go check out interviews in the description below. As Katie said, yes, lots and lots of fun there.
God bless Ray Chase for not batting an eye when I brought up Malignant. God bless that man.
He's like, he was a yes and like.
Actually, I voice another character, and I'm like, dude, yes. Thank you.
So thank you to everybody who has already checked those interviews out, getting some nice numbers there. Thank you. And if you know other Demon Slayer fans, tell them to go check it out. So we talked to a lot of the primary voice actors of that film and series, as well as a lot of other influencers and special guests. So those are fun times to have by all.
Yeah, and once again, if you want to see it in theaters, tickets are on sale. I think it's tickets.demonslayer-movie.com. I think
that's also in the description too.
Yes. Either which way, that drops on the 3rd, so this Friday. So, grab your friends, grab your mask if you're not comfortable unmasking in theaters yet. I still wear a mask when I go out, so, grab your level of comfort, grab your friends, go see anime in the theaters with other anime fans. Yes. It is a blast. And as a reminder, it is remastered in 4K and 4.7 speaker Dolby, so it is the premium experience.
Yes. So it's a perfect pairing for the beautiful animation style of the Demon Slayer franchise.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Speaking of movies, I'm like, wait, let me pull this up. So I just had it. There it goes. So speaking of films, there is Studio Ghibli Fest 2023 coming out. So that is when Fathom Events pairs up with G Kids. They bring those beloved films to theaters. So in case either you've never seen it, want to take your friends, or want to see it on the big screen, now's your chance. First one starts March 25th with My Neighbor Totoro. And then they have the Spirited Away live on stage April 23rd and 27th, which we've talked about on here as well. All the way through October, when they have Spirited Away at the end of October, which is a fun repeat and good timing for that one. So October, yay.
I will have to check the schedule and see if they have Princess Mononoke, because it's been a dog's age since I've seen that. And I think that would be a fun theatrical. They'd all be a great theatrical experience. But that one was my first. Near and dear to my heart.
Right? Same. I feel that was... it was that or Spirited Away. But I know I had Princess Mononoke as screened at a birthday party, slumber party that I had. So
also a slumber party. Yeah. Same. I was not prepared. But it was like 6th grade Katie was not prepared for this. But it was amazing.
I don't think my friends were prepared, but I think everybody had a good time. That is August 5th to the 9th. So
hell yeah.
Yes. So check that out. Go follow G Kids. They have a lot of other great releases that we've also talked about on this channel.
Yes.
Things. Referring back to Demon Slayer, Charles Darcy says, going this weekend. Woo,
hell yeah.
And then go watch the interviews.
Yeah.
Because then you could hear what they were saying about the movie and everything.
Yes.
So no spoilers in the interviews, so don't worry.
The interviews are spoiler free.
Yes.
Because we did specifically said, spoiler free.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of wonderful things that Crunchyroll is doing, a reminder that the Crunchyroll Anime Awards are streaming live this Saturday,
Ooh.
the 4th. They will be streaming on Crunchyroll's YouTube and Twitch channels, so check that out, set a reminder. I'm not sure what time because they are streaming live from Japan, so I'm expecting a little time zone wizardry going on there.
A little bit.
But check it out. They have all sorts of guest hosts. These are the anime that you voted for. So it's
Mhm.
always in an award show season where there's a lot of why did they make that decision? It's really nice to be able to watch an award show where you can go, the thing I voted for won. Like you actually
Yes.
get to participate. So, Crunchyroll Anime Awards on the 4th this Saturday, streaming live on Crunchyroll's YouTube and Twitch channels. So, check it out.
Yes. Alrighty, so we'll get right into it. Where to go? Trigun. Also, if you are new to this channel, we'll be talking about the current show that is currently airing, and then we will compare to the previous one. So we'll put this up in case you have not watched it, and we won't spoil it for you.
We will not be discussing the manga because we haven't read it or we read it so long ago that we don't really remember most of it. So, yes, if you haven't seen the older Trigun anime and want to stay spoiler free, we do have those lower thirds for you. Just mute when we get to that point. Keep an eye on that lower third for when it changes to My Hero Academia. We got you covered.
All right. This was a fun flashback of like, ooh, context. Like, all right. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Is he wearing like, are they wearing suits or is that their skin? Because it goes to like right here, and I kind of partially felt like, oh, is that like their actual like? Because it does the stuff on his face.
Yeah.
So I'm all, is
It's
that his?
it's hard to tell, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if man, do we ever get to see like actual I'm trying to remember like do we ever actually get to see hands or is he wearing gloves the whole time in the future?
Yes.
I would not be
Yeah. I
surprised
don't
if
think we
skin.
see. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if skin. Because we have that and then we also have knives, jellyfish kigurumi, which
Yes.
I will only ever refer to it as that. Just that.
This is accurate assessment. Charles says Vash's life is pain, even this far back. Yes. I like we get the verification that he is the more human one. He needs to
Yes.
eat, he needs to sleep, and that's probably why he has more empathy and connection to human beings.
Like, I'm not sure that he needs to. I think it's
Oh,
more that
true.
he does.
And he can't. It functions.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
knives is like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Now out here like,
It's
who
grumpy
cares?
boy. Yes.
But yeah, it was fun having this flashback, and it was fun to see like what happened in between the ships going down and the present and the civilization that we know now. That we do have this interim of no, not everyone died. It worked out. Like some of the ships were able to do an override and they still crash landed, but it wasn't a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like there were survivors. They were able to continue to live on the ship, etc. Like it's good to see the interim steps. Because I feel like that's not something we usually get to see in a story like this. You get the traumatic backstory, you get the present, we go. It's like, oh no, there's intervening areas. We start seeing Vash grow up. We start seeing him, like his ability to interact with plants and bring them back from the brink of destruction, as it were.
Very convenient.
Yes. And get the whole, like, yeah, most plants are cloned from a single cell, from a single thing, but occasionally a plant can give birth, and that's what fashion knives are plant children. It's like, there's some really fucked up philosophical questions here as to exactly how alive and aware plants are.
Back to our question we started talking about last time. That's like,
yeah. It's like, are they sentient? Yeah. Are they sapient? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how messed up is this? Like, we don't know. So there's a point where you kind of sit here and go, how much of a point does knives have? Like, it's not always a fun thing to consider, but if these are his people that are being used as power sources, Like, there's, I don't think there's any right answers here right now, but like, yikes.
One quick thing, I was looking it up because I wanted to have it ready. Something kind of fun of one of those. Wait, that voice sounds familiar. Brad, the voice of Brad, is Junichi Suabe, who is the voice of our eraser, Mr. Sensei in My Hero Academia.
Okay.
I was like, wait, he sounds familiar. He sounds familiar, and I'm like, yes.
Like, there we go.
So he has some other things as well, but like that's since we talked about My Hero. But yes, that was fun. I appreciated that dynamic of the essential to the crew members, and like he's actually a real softie. He's nice, and that
I
was
liked
cute.
Brad.
Yes.
Like, it's good. Happy that Vash could help the plants at least.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good to have someone around who is suspicious and who is willing to look into things and get to the bottom of stuff. Like, it's so easy to hate a character who's like, well, I don't trust him. Well, I don't like this. Just because, like, oh, because we know, like, oh, he's our protagonist. He's a sweetheart. Like, okay, but they don't know this. So it's nice to have a character like this who isn't just a caricature, who doesn't just hate the protagonist for no reason, or, oh, he's different, but actually has valid concerns about this awful thing just happened. We don't know what happened or why or how. This kid is a plant, but he doesn't function like one. Like, I appreciated that we had a character who could be suspicious about these things and who could also get to know Vash, take the evidence in front of his eyes and change his opinions. Like, I really appreciated that about him, because it's so easy to just go one note asshole and be done with it. And they didn't do that, and I love that.
Yes. Look at the chat. We got Giga Dirk. Hello. Pop in for a second to say hi and back to work.
Hello.
Yes.
Catch the VOD, friend.
There we go. I like that he has a healthy dose of skepticism. You know, it's like the let's not take this blindly. But so they're a good team of working together. I like we get a little bit more about Ray, a little bit, and where the jacket comes from.
Yes, and just him leaving it behind, like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. Then I was gonna think. So at the end, I was a little bit like, wait, where did we leave off last time? So he wakes up and it's the bed that he was in as a kid, but it's him now. I'm like, wait, how did we get here?
We had a little like, oh, we bring it back, and then we flash back further into the flashback. I'm like, okay, I get why you did that, but also, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, so that's at that point, he's down an arm. It's like, okay. So it's just like a little note to the audience that, like, yeah, things are going to go wrong up in here. He's going to find this ship full of dead plants, and things are going to go wrong.
Yes, that nice, creepy gathering. And the other people there that we don't really know who they are yet is kind of fakey.
Yep.
It's like...
It does have me legitimately wondering if in the present day he is able to fix plants that have gone red. Like, are they dead? Are they in hibernation? Are they, like, what's the deal?
Yeah. And how does that ability wane over time? Is that,
or does it?
Yeah, or not, like, can he always do it? Like, is that part of his journey and exploration as well? Yeah.
And the explanation that plants can all generate or do one specific thing. So it's like, this one generates a chemical, this one generates power. Like, they all do different things. And so talking to him and him going, I can't do anything like that. And me going, okay, but you have like a gate thing that knives once? Is that something only you can do? Is that like a twin thing that you both can do? Is his namesake, his millions knives, like a thing that he can do? Is that his plant power? What are we looking at here? So every plant can do one thing well. It's like, all right, what's your superpower? What do we got? If we're not going with angel arms, then what are we looking at?
Or it's that idea of like, we had a lot of questions answered and a lot more still there of like,
oh yeah,
thank you, but I want more questions. Anything else in this before we start comparing?
It went by fast.
It's really good. And then
I'm like,
We're done? That's it?
I really liked the captain.
Yes.
She was great.
Yep.
I appreciated the hell out of her.
Yep.
And then Vash just marking time on his doors with a spoon.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it's a one a day thing, but watching it with my roommate, she leans in and goes, "Kid, it's been 2 hours." Like, no, that's really funny, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, the level of treating him like a person, but also like, no, we're keeping you in here because we really don't know yet. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. Like, and I appreciate the balance that they struck between he is a kid and wanting to trust him and take care of him, and he is a plant and an unknown, and awful things just happened.
Yes. And they have the evidence that he's connected to something. They don't know enough context, but it's enough to be like, what went down, buddy?
Yeah, the black box is now repaired enough for them to be like, "Hey, quick
I got
question.
some questions for
What
you.
is this?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, no, he's my brother. Of course I got him the code, but I didn't think he'd cause the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with being related to the villain of the story.
Guilty by proxy. No. Yep. All right. So getting some comparing now. I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't remember any of this, so I really appreciated all this context.
When we had the flashback episode in the previous anime, it was all Vash and Knives growing up on this ship with like a crew of 5 people who were awake. And I think Brad was actually one of the 5 people, and it was there were problems. There were problems. Brad was not the greatest. I don't remember all the details, but it very much went into the different mindsets between Vash and Knives and how they approach the world even at that young age. And then Knives started manipulating the crew and turning them against each other even before he did the crash. There's a word there and my brain refuses to find it. Big Tuesday energy. So it was a lot of just watching Knives take this worldview that no one could convince him to change or try to temper and leap off that slippery slope straight into genocide. And Vash tries so hard to temper it and not be able to do anything. So it's what we had covered in the episode here is something that the original anime did not address. In the same way that for this one, we got the crash, but they're not retreading ground.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what they choose to cover, what they choose to address. Like, I like it.
Well, even they're giving us information so densely packed, but it's really delectable. Like, yes, this is so much. The birthday thing, like, shows you Vash's personality, shows you Knives' personality, how they feel about it, and function of like, well, do they really need birthdays? Yes. Can we do those just for fun? And I eat and I drink and I sleep, and then I don't care about any of that. So I was like, I liked it a lot. It was really interesting.
Yeah, the human experience versus the not even close, don't want it.
Yep, it's like, nope, don't want to touch it at all. And then seeing Vash grow up more, I thought this was just, I don't recall this as much from the series before, so it was nice to
because again, this is a part we didn't get.
Yeah, so it's like, ooh, I like having this context. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a good time.
All right, I think that's kind of it because that one, went by in a flash.
Yeah, and the other one, again, the previous anime just did the one and done on the flashback episode.
Sounds like we're getting more for next time, which is good because there's more context we need. All right, are we ready for My Hero?
I think so.
All right, so welcome back. If you were dipping out for Trigun 1998 comparison, now time for some My Hero. Also, another very exciting episode.
Yeesh.
Yay for assassination attempts. Like, what?
I really do appreciate the look at Heroes Society, especially talking about the safety commission and then going, heroes that are abusing their power, heroes that are abusing this. Like, they just disappear. Their crimes are never brought before people. Like, no wonder people lost their shit about
Yeah.
Endeavor.
Yeah.
For one, yes, Endeavor shit is bad. I'm not downplaying that in any capacity. He fucked up and he continued to fuck up for a very long time. Like, we're not downplaying Endeavor's anything. We've talked at length about this. But if it's the first big hero crime that society has really been exposed to,
Yeah, they've all been brushed under the rug.
Yeah. Like,
oh, you mean like real world things, hiding what people in power do and like shuffling people around? I'm like,
the show gets uncomfortable sometimes, and I realize that's the point. Yeah, just one of those like, okay, nothing's okay. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, I like that look into it, and I like the, hey, as much as we cannot support a genocide, the villains kind of have a point about hero society being a little fucked up and a house of cards. Like, we're not at cool motives still murder territory, because like, no, wanting to completely tear everything down and remake it with yourself as the ruler is also super not okay. It's one of those, there's a point in there somewhere, but you got to get through an entire dumpster fire's worth of shit to find it. So there's no, oh, the villains are right, but there is like, you know, they're not wrong about a couple of things. There's a few aspects where it's like, yeah, no, hero society definitely needs a little reworking. A lot of this is not okay. But also like, yikes. Yikes.
Our lady sniper getting her backstory and context. And of course, she's paired up with the purest golden retriever good boy that he's like, but yes, that might be true, but it could be good. And that's such a interesting dynamic because he's not wrong, but she's not wrong either.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, yay. So is that the, all for one dynamic of, oh, I can be like, boom, you kill you because you've done something and you're going against my programming, which I'm like, yes.
And I'm sitting here going, how did you orchestrate that? How did he put a kill switch in? How did the, like, I'm certain it was like a quirk that was set to go off after a certain whatever, but also like, what?
Well, it's very reminiscent of Muzan in Demon Slayer, that if the demons that have his blood and his connection speak about him or mention something, they'll explode. So,
but that's Demon Slayer. Like, this world has rules that don't work like that.
Yes.
Like, I would, if he's got a quirk, like, oh, if I do this and then a certain thing happens, like, I can set, like, if they had given us just a couple sentences of explanation as to how he was able to do that.
Like, if you go against me, I will do something. Yeah.
As opposed to just, you exploded again. You really need to stop doing that. Like, okay. Yeah, no, that was like great for drama points, but also like, how did that work? How does this work? Usually this show is very good at explaining how things work. Almost over-explaining at points. So, like, the fact that this just happened, it's like, guys,
I feel we're gonna get maybe context next episode, maybe? Because maybe Deku would be like, so how'd that happen?
Can we talk about the preview for the next episode for just a hot second? Can we talk about that for a hot second? Because even when shit's bad, all of the trailers, like all the previews have ended with Go Beyond plus Ultra. Like, that's always how they ended. Even when things are dire, even when things are desperate, that's always the end of the preview. The fact that this one ended with, I'm fine. No, really, I'm fine.
I was like, oh.
Just like, that is the fun thing about I'm fine as a refrain in writing is that you can very much use it to show that a character is really super not okay.
Yep.
So the fact that they've taken that one constant and changed it for the next episode is like, oh, oh no, this is bad. He's really super heckin' not okay. I mean, that paired with the opening and the ending is just like, well, obviously my dude needs a hug. But just that little trick, the one time they may have done it a few other times. This is the one that stood out to me, where they replaced the Go
Yep,
Beyond Plus Ultra with something different, and
I noticed
it's
that.
just, yep, it's
And
just
how he
Deku
says it,
going,
you're like,
I'm fine. Like, you're
eh,
not okay.
no.
Oh, this is not fine. This is the opposite of fine.
Yep. We
Great.
got Charles in the chat pointing out, yes, Lady Nagant was made to do horrible things when all she wanted was to inspire. Yeah.
Yeah, this world would be a lot better if therapy existed. Like, and if people
Yeah.
went to it.
Yep.
I feel like, for the most part, a lot of these people really just needed therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it didn't happen.
No.
So, and again, I know there's stigma against therapy, and I'm here to tell you that it's bullshit, and therapy's good, actually. So, it's always good to talk about your problems with a professional. They are meant to take care of these things.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that just can't blame people who get recruited at a young age to do some murders for maybe having a psychological break about the entire thing. Human minds really aren't built for that.
Mm-hmm. We get. I was trying to think of other moments. I did like All Might going. I have like no literal physical power at this point, but he's like, I'm gonna do something. And
All Might out here rolling a
enough.
nat 20 on his intimidation check. Like, I've built this reputation for long enough. I may be Small Might. I will still fuck you up. And I'm going. So I'm legitimately sitting here going, I need to know if they got out of his way or if he legitimately did fuck them up.
That's a good question.
I kind of need to know this. Either way, it's amazing, but like, wow.
And him being good, making good on his, not that we would doubt he'd make good on his promises, but making good on his promises of like, I will do anything. You're like, okay. Also, speaking of doing anything, Hawk's in, swooping in for the rescue with the baby wings.
It's like, wait, I can't fly yet. Wait. Ah!
Yes.
Endeavor, I could use some help. Endeavor, come back.
He's like, it's raining. It's a little tricky for me. The other thing, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. I mean, I mentioned, I was thinking how he's talking to the other previous wielders, but yes, the new ability using the third wielder's quirk, Fajin. So the kind of like superpower your movement, which was really cool and helpful.
Yeah.
But yes, that stacking of powers and doing them all at the same time, a little tricky. Still working on that.
Deku out here learning to multitask.
Yeah.
And again, I love that this stacks with even what we've seen of him from the very beginning of the show. The fact that he is, let's be real, a total nerd.
Oh, yeah.
And is absolutely able to take all of these pieces and strategize and go, all right, here's the strengths, here's the weaknesses, here's how it works. How will it fit with this? How can I pair it with this? What's the best way to, like, not everyone can take a whole bunch of moving parts and put them together to make a cohesive whole. Like, that is a specific skill set that is not quirk related. And the fact that Deku came into the show with that he is just like that, and then was handed, here is a whole bunch of different moving parts. And the fact that he as a person, the intellect and the passion that he brings into this, is able to take all those moving parts and go, put this here, do this at this percentage, do this. And that's just who he is.
Yep.
Yep. Nope. I love this. I love this.
Since establish him in his notebook and all the notes and the planning and like strategize. Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those obvious groundwork pieces be like, hey, so the thing he does now, we've been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, so it's not like, well, why is he so good at this now? Like, because he's always done this. He's always had the notebook and the strategy and the figuring things out and putting the pieces together. Like, that has always been him. Now it's just his quirk instead of everyone else's. Yeah. Although technically it also is everyone else's, but they're his now. It's fun that way.
You're like, oh yeah, that.
Hey, good times.
I think those are all the main big points for me. Any other things?
Public
So-
Safety Commission is a problem.
Yeah.
We need to
Oh,
talk
wait,
about
duh.
Overhaul.
There we go. Moving faster than Nagant, Super Bullet aimed at Overhaul. Yes.
And then pointing out to Nagant, like, if you really didn't care, you would have taken out my spine with your first hit and immobilized me.
mhm,
And your trajectory on that bullet was off. You were never going to hit him.
mhm,
Just pointing out, like, no, you do care.
mhm.
And Nagant being around enough, even after the explosion, to give that little piece of information, like, in 2
Yes.
months, we're meeting here. There are other villains tasked with the same thing. Like, this
Mhm,
is it.
mhm.
So it's like, oh, your explosion. Crit super effective. Still
Yay.
didn't take her out.
Yes.
Not fast enough.
Yep. Oh, Overhaul. Yeah, wanting to apologize to his father. It's like,
Mhm.
no, you need to apologize to someone else.
Yeah. Just is like,
Yeah.
Eri, oh, right. I can use her to rewind him. Like, no,
It's like,
no. That's not what we're talking about here.
Mm-mm.
That is
Yep.
not what we're talking about here. We are talking about you
He is so
apologizing
broken, and
to
I
the
love it, though.
child that you messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love how broken Overhaul is, though. You're like,
It's just like,
you know.
oh, buddy. Ugh.
Maybe this is what happens when you're awful, you know.
Also, he did a lot of like messing himself up in the fight. And I'm like,
Yep.
you sure you put everything back where it belongs? Just, he can't do any more editing because he is completely disarmed. But are you sure you put everything back where it belongs? Yikes, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It also has me wondering, like, did the quirk specifically have to go through his hands, or
True.
is skin-to-skin contact, like, a thing that he could do? I don't think he's there enough to be able to figure it out one way or another.
You might have to learn how to channel it differently, but maybe it is there. Like,
maybe,
you know, if you yourself as a person lost a limb, how you would have to kind of connect in your brain how to use it, you know. So maybe it's something like that, but we'll find out.
But it also makes me wonder, like, what the rules of his quirk are.
Yes. Oh yeah, specifics. You're like,
yeah.
Can I get details? We need Deku's notebook of all the details.
Does it have to go through his hands?
You know,
or can he just like poke someone with a foot and do things?
Right? Can he
like,
palm someone on the nose? Yeah.
That the flip side of that is, do we really want him to?
No. Let's keep him broken. Yes, he's a dangerous one. It's like no. This is a better one too.
Well, unfortunately, he edited his adopted dad to keep him under, so it's like, all right, yikes.
Yeah. And
so having Overhaul around has been interesting, and again, the first hint of Nagant caring, because she's the one that stopped and went to haul him out and tried to get him out along with everyone else. And it's like, no, I don't know him. He's obviously not okay. So if everyone else gets the opportunity to leave, why shouldn't he?
Right. Because he's very mentally broken. He can't think to get out. He just wants to find his dad.
Yep. It's like, no, I'll fulfill her promise if you can muster a sincere apology for Eri. Like, so that's a no.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get something like that at the end of the series. Who knows? But for now, that's a no.
Yeah. I was like, this one also kind of zipped by.
Yeah, it really did. It's hard to cover things that are action heavy sometimes. Yeah. It's hard to recap a fight scene. It's like there was a lot in this, but it also just went noom.
Yes. The fighting in the air, him noticing that she has the additional quirk was cool, and like how's this working out, and how he is able to outmaneuver her was great.
Yeah.
But
And again, I appreciate, just in terms of Deku's current character design and costume he's wearing and everything, like the fact that every time he pulls that hood over his head, he just looks completely inhuman. Like, I love when visual design works for the theme of the story. I love when they do that. It's so good. And even with the hood off, it's like, oh, you're really not okay. That's not what your face is supposed to look like. You're supposed to have some kind of spark in those eyes, and it's not there.
Yeah.
Like, Oh dear. Oh
Yep.
kid. Oh.
Yep.
Oh. Give me that. I think we're like what, 2, 3 episodes left in this season.
Oh.
Crunchyroll numbers them with the total number of episodes, so
Yeah, I
we're
was
on
like,
episode like 126 or some
yeah, I'm like,
noise.
I don't know.
So it's like we
It
usually
feels like
manage
getting to the end of a
somewhere between 23 and 26 a season, I think.
yeah.
So I'm sitting here going, we got to get him some hugs before the end of the season, right? How many
Yes.
more episodes do we have to do that? Can we please do that before the season ends? I don't want this ending theme to lie to me.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give
Yep.
me.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll find
Yep.
out next time.
We will.
And where'd it go? Okay. Other things you should check out as you've been hearing about what we've been talking about and shows and things. Well, one, as we talked about before, Demon Slayer coming into theaters very, very soon. Highly
If you have
recommend in
not
theaters
seen
if you
it,
can.
it's not difficult to catch up. It's 2
Yes,
seasons right now.
just save the last 2 episodes so you can see those in theaters.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes, because
You
it's the last 2 episodes of the entertainment arc. In case
I
y'all
feel
were
like
like,
you
"Wait,
might
what?"
want to see those anyway because I think people would think that the spoiler statute of limitations would have passed because those episodes dropped months ago. Wouldn't want you to be spoiled in theater for something you're about to see.
Wait, sorry, one more time.
It wouldn't surprise me if people who were going to see this in theaters were talking about it in the theater beforehand.
Oh, sure,
because
sure,
those
sure,
2 episodes have been
yeah,
out
they've
for
been
so
out for a
long.
while, so yeah.
So,
We'll
make your own decision on the over-under, but I wouldn't want you to be spoiled for something right before you sit down to watch it.
Yeah, that's when you just show up and sit down and be like, and I'm ready.
It's an AMC. I saved my seat. I can show
Yeah.
up 2 minutes before we start and get some
Yes.
popcorn and everything's fine.
I was gonna say, speaking of AMC, I saw Marlowe. If you like slow burn noirs, it is good. I did watch it a little bit tired though, so it was very slow. Because it's one of those things. There's certain movies that it's not as it's rough when you're tired when it is a slower. I mean, I knew that going in.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be it's a detective one. It's Liam Neeson and he's great. And I do like that there's jokes where he's like, I'm getting too old for this because he is 70 years old. That man is amazing.
Oh my God.
That I'm like, wow.
Holy shit.
Also, he is 6'4" because there's a couple moments in the movie that they're like, they call him big guy, you're tall. And I'm like, how tall is he? And so I looked it up after. But yeah, it's if you want, if that is your kind of jam of a movie of like a detective old Hollywood, there's a lot of interesting characters. There's some great dynamics that Liam Neeson's. It's based on a character, I think, from a book too. Like Marlowe is a character similar to Hercule Poirot with my awful pronunciation.
Hercule.
Thank you. I'm like, I can't think right now. But that guy, like, that's a character in books. Marlowe's a character from something else. So
okay,
and that's where that kind of concept came from. There's some great dynamics he has with somebody later in the film, which that was very entertaining, but is towards the back end of it. But yeah, it's one of those. If I would almost wait till you go home, wait till it's. You don't need to see it on the big screen. Oh, actually, there we go. I was like, wait, I did watch a thing. You can check out Unwelcome on March 17th, and there will soon be an interview with the director on this channel. I just spoke with him today. That's why we're in a slightly different setup. It is a horror movie, indie. It's set in Ireland, and there are red caps, like evil little gnomes, and you got to feed them every day. And that's part of it, but there's other things as well. And having, courage to fend for yourself and keep yourself safe, or are you a coward? And what happens if you can't do anything? And what happens if you make that decision to do something? There are some elements of home invasion. So if that's not something you're really into, that is a big part of it. Different ways that I like that they explore different things with that. And there are other topics that are explored in the movie. So yeah, if you're into horror movies and kind of mythology as well, I really liked how the little monsters are done. And then stay tuned for the interview because we talked about how they were done.
Nice.
Yeah, they came out really cool. I was like, oh, those actually look really good. I mean, They actually look really good. You're just more pleasantly surprised. You can't really tell from a trailer. You're just like, how much am I going to see? But yeah, so Unwelcome coming to VOD on March 17th. It might, and even the director's like, you can watch it for St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
He is Irish, so he's like, all right, there you go, something to watch. I'm like, that's cool.
And St. Patty's is on a Friday this year.
Aha, nice.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, the big thing I watched this weekend is probably not going to be available for a while. We went to go see one of the last live productions of the newest Team Star Kid musical, Nerdy Prudes Must Die. For those going, what the hell is that title?
Why the title?
For those familiar with Team Star Kid musicals, it's a Hatchetfield horror comedy. So in the vein of The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals and Black Friday. For those not familiar, you may have heard of Team Star Kid because way back in the day they did like Harry Potter the musical. It's also where Darren Criss got his start, I want to say. Like he was a member of Team Star Kid. And they have continued to just do some absolutely amazing musicals. They did a take on Jafar that was done in the style of Wicked. So it's like, actually, he's been a good guy all along. It's hysterical. It's called Twisted. And all of their stuff is on YouTube. They do professional recordings of it. They do recordings of their performances in front of the audience. So Team Star Kid just does some amazing stuff. But if you want some really fun horror comedy, the first one is called The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. The second one is called Black Friday. And I think Black Friday is the superior one of the lot. I find the story more interesting, and I find the horror threat behind it to be scarier. But it helps to watch both of them because they're a little self-referential. They'll bring back characters from one to another, and it's just a bunch of, like, if it's set in Hatchetfield, it's not going to be happy. It's not allowed to be happy. This is a horror comedy, and horror movies can go either way. You either get a happy ending or you get a not so happy ending, and it's valid. And Team Star Kid tends to prefer the not so happy endings after they build up to something that makes it look like, hey, it looks like a happy ending. Hey, it looks like you'll succeed. Well, actually. So Nerdy Prudes Must Die is the latest. I'm sure that they will have the soundtrack on Spotify and a recording up on YouTube at some point in the near future. And it is a slasher movie, a slasher musical, rather, that genre. It's so funny. They are so good at slasher conventions. They are so good at the exaggerated high school student experience. Like, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait for the soundtrack to drop. It has some bangers. And then because we went on a night when the rainstorms were really, really bad, we had a power outage during the final act. And God bless them. They finished the final musical number in the dark with only the house lights up on emergency power. And, everyone stood up, standing ovation, applause. And then the director stands up and goes, "There's 2 minutes left in the musical." And we're like, all right. Because they'd had a power outage earlier, halfway through the second act, and it took them a solid 40 minutes to get everything going again. So they waited for about 10 minutes, and then he's like, "We're sending you home. You get the rare Hatchetfield happy ending." Like, oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, Nerdy Prudes Must Die is amazing. I think that were some of the last showings that were available, but keep an eye on Team Star Kid's social media and their YouTube channel, because I will be very surprised if it doesn't become available a little later on to watch. So highly recommended. Aside from that, I'm just still watching the same stuff. Handyman Saito in Another World took a turn that I was not expecting. This show got wild. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill continues to be amazing and just keeps getting better in ways that anime usually doesn't, so I'm still gobsmacked. And we made a meal that was featured in that show the other day, and it was really good.
Nice.
I'd never seen Oyakodon before in my life, and then we made it, and it was fantastic. So, love this show. Love this show.
Yay, awesome. It was like food.
So good.
Well, to give you a shout out to those watching dubs, John Knight says, speaking of the final act, I'm in the final act of My Hero Academia dub. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. We are on it's a Tuesday, so things a little different today, but
Yeah.
yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this special edition of Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. If you joined us live, awesome. If not, no worries. Comment down below on the different things we talked about. And again, reminder, there's the link to the Demon Slayer interview, red carpets. They're very fun, and get to hear from the cast of the show you watch, as well as other people in the anime world who make other really cool content. So
Yeah.
Katie, where can people find you online? Anything else you want to promote?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. Ruby has returned, and that means that Ruby reactions have returned, and those are on that YouTube channel. I am also part of Silver Screams. That is Silver Screams on YouTube and the social medias. That is a horror channel that my roommate and I do. Scream 6 is dropping like next week. Holy cow. So you can definitely expect probably a solid hour-long breakdown of that movie once we go and see it, because we've already had our tickets for several weeks. Very excited about that. Very excited about the new Scream movie. So yes, follow that, check it out. It's a good time.
Yay! And you all can find me online, Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane. And as I was saying before, stay tuned. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to go up, but very soon we'll be interview with the director, John Wright, for the film Unwelcome. We really go into detail about the creatures and how they did that process. It's really kind of, I always find that fascinating of like, did you use practical effects? Did you use CG and all that? As well as some of the other themes are explored. It has a really cool cast of people that you will recognize. And I liked hearing the behind the scenes of how that worked, and just, the filming. If you're into the filmy process of things, it's definitely a must watch, and you should check it out. And don't worry, there is a spoiler thing, and I waited till at the very, very end, because then we talk about the very, very end of the movie, because I was like, hold on, we'll do our sign off. And then I'm like, okay, so the very end. So don't worry. If you haven't watched the film, you can watch the beginning, pause, and then come back. Because that's the beauty of these things. And as we said, Demon Slayer interviews, and I think that's about it for now. Also, refresher too, in case you missed them as well. Here on the Fanversation channel, we have our other co-host. Oh, she's like, I am so tired right now. What are you doing to me? Carnival Row interviews here on the Fanversation channel, so go check those out. So make sure also you click the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.